Hello everyone and welcome back to today's session. In today's class, we are going to discuss about mitosis. We have already seen the introduction of cell cycle and cell division. We now know the reason why does a cell divide and what are its different steps, right? And now in today's class, I'm going to begin with first type of cell division, which is mitosis, or also known as equational cell division. So I welcome you all to your one and only favorite channel, Let's Crack NEET UG in English. I'm Aditi Gupta, your biology educator. And come on, let's decipher the hidden mystery of cell division. Right, guys? So before I proceed, first let me introduce myself and tell you something really important about Unacademy. So guys, this is the link to our Telegram channel. You can stay connected to all of us through this Telegram channel. You will be getting the updates of all the upcoming week lectures on this particular channel. Okay, guys? Now, talking about myself, so my name is Aditi Gupta, and I have been mentoring students for the past 6 years for their NEET UG preparation. I myself have secured an All India rank of 61 in the prestigious GATE examination and have pursued my MTech from IIT Kanpur in biological sciences and bioengineering. Guys, by profession, I am a research scientist. I am here to follow my passion for teaching, to share my knowledge, which will help you in cracking your NEET UG examination. Okay, guys? So you are well aware of the fact that topmost team of educators are on this amazing platform, are on board on this amazing platform, and in order to avail maximum benefit, in order to be under their guidance, to be under their mentorship, you need to go for Unacademy subscription. Unacademy subscription offers you a really good platform, okay, to ensure all-round development, all-round care, which is required for your NEET UG preparation. Now, how can you proceed for Unacademy subscription? Guys, you can proceed for the subscription by visiting unacademy.com or by downloading Unacademy Learning app through Play Store or iOS, right? Unacademy Learning app has some absolutely free of cost features like the special classes and the quiz feature. You don't have to pay anything to attend these two features, right? So go explore and enhance your learning experience, because all the teachers, they are providing their free of cost special classes on Unacademy Learning app, and feel the difference. Okay, guys? Now, talking about myself, so I'm live daily at 11:30 a.m. on Unacademy Learning app for my special classes, which are absolutely free of cost. The link for my Unacademy Learning app profile is provided in the description box. You can follow me there to stay tuned to all the upcoming lectures, right? Now, talking about the benefits of having Unacademy subscription. By subscribing to Unacademy platform, you will be getting live classes from the topmost team of educators, and there are multiple batches running on the platform. You can select your batch according to your requirement, okay, according to your demand, I can say, and then you can track your preparation by participating in various test series which are running on the platform. See, there are two platforms for Unacademy subscription: Unacademy Plus and Unacademy Iconic. You will be getting daily live classes for all the three subjects, physics, chemistry, and biology, by the topmost team of educators on Unacademy subscription platform. You will be getting a chance to interact with your educator one-on-one, right? There is a dedicated doubt clearing sessions just after, 3 or 4 classes, regular live classes. Then the complete NEET UG syllabus will be covered in a detailed manner, in a structured manner, and you will be provided with the PDF notes, right? You don't have to worry which book to follow for theory as well as question practice. We are there to guide you, to help you in each and every step, right? Then your knowledge will be evaluated, your preparation journey will be evaluated on the basis of various live test series and quizzes, okay? Then you will be getting unlimited access to all the NEET UG content. That means, see, there are 50 plus educators on Unacademy subscription platform, and you will be getting access to the video lectures, to the PDF notes, to the personalized test papers of all the educators, right? So these are the benefits of having Unacademy Plus subscription. Now, talking about Unacademy Iconic. So Iconic also includes all the benefits of Plus, but it has some out-of-the-box features, like each and every student in Iconic will be getting their own personal coach, and your personal coach will be there throughout your NEET UG preparation journey to listen to your challenges, to listen to your problems, and to guide you, to provide a solution right? You don't have to experiment. You don't have to waste your entire year, right? And wait till NEET UG examination and then learn, okay, I have did this mistake. I should not have been doing this. Your personal coach will be there to guide you, right, in each and every step. Then you will be provided with a study planner, which will be specifically designed considering your strengths and your weaknesses so that you can utilize your time to the best of your efficiency. Then you will be provided with in-depth test analysis. Best features, the most important feature. Why? Because you must know whatever mistakes you are doing, what's the reason behind it. Then only you will be able to, correct your mistakes and you'll be able to rectify them. Okay, and then only it will help you in your NEET UG examination, right? Then only you won't be repeating the same mistake again. Okay. Then in between, in regular intervals, you will be getting expert guidance, expert motivation sessions to keep you motivated, to keep your spirit high. Right, guys? Now, this was the benefits of Unacademy Plus as well as Iconic subscription. Now, moving towards the subscription plans. So, talking about Unacademy Plus, there are multiple subscription plans available for Plus, but I would suggest, students targeting NEET 2021 now can go for 6 months of subscription plan. 12th studying can also opt 6 months of subscription plan, but generally, students who are 10 pass can go for this 2 year of subscription plan, or who has just entered class 12, they can go for this 1 year of subscription plan. Okay, you can see this empty box in the bottom side, right? If you use my referral code, which is AG001, you will be getting an instant 10% discount. That means now you won't have to pay the entire course fee. You will be getting a 10% discount on your course fee, right? Now the course fee becomes 25,200 for 6 months, 34,650 for 1 year, and 50,400 for 2 years, right? Similarly, for Iconic, we have 3 subscription plans: 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. Again, if you use my referral code AG001, you will be getting an instant 10% discount. That means now you'll be getting Iconic subscription of 6 months at only rupees 34,200, and for 1 year at rupees 58,500, and for 2 years at rupees 90,000. But remember, the cost which you are paying on a monthly basis, see, you are paying only rupees 3,750 per month, and you're getting all the benefits, all the features of the Iconic platform, right? And this is the best available. You will be mentored under the guidance of the topmost team of educators, right? The best team of educators from all across the country. So go start preparing, and as Unacademy says, let's crack it. So guys, coming towards our today's topic, as we have already discussed in our yesterday's class, what is cell division and why does a cell divide at the first place, right? We know in order to regain the nucleocytoplasmic ratio, the surface area to volume ratio, a cell divide, because both these ratios are high for a metabolically active cell, right? And when these ratios are not sufficient for a cell to actively perform the metabolism, the cell takes a decision to divide, right? Now, we have also seen the types of cell division. I told you that there are 3 different types of cell division: amitosis, the primitive type of cell division, mitosis, and meiosis. In today's class, we are going to discuss in detail what procedure and what steps are taking place in mitosis or mitotic cell division. Okay, guys? So come on, let's start today's session. So talking about mitosis. Mitosis is also known as equational cell division. What? Equational cell division. Why? Because the number of chromosomes in the daughter cell and in the mother cell is identical. For example, let's say if a somatic cell in our body is dividing, okay, a hair cell. Let's take an example. A hair cell is dividing with the help of mitotic cell division, right? Now, what is happening if 2n is equals to 46? We know that we have 23 pairs of chromosomes, right? Now 2n is equals to 46. So if the number of chromosome is 46 and there are 2 set of chromosome in the mother cell, the daughter cells which will be produced by the division of the mother cell, the 2 daughter cells which will be produced will also be containing 2 sets of chromosomes and total 46 chromosomes, right? That means the number of chromosomes are identical in the mother cell and the daughter cell, and that is why it is known as equational cell division, right? The mitosis was first of all observed by Strasburger in plant cell. Okay, whereas in animal cell it was observed by Boveri and Fleming. Okay, so in plant cell it was observed by Strasburger, and in animal cell it was observed by Boveri and Fleming. The term mitosis was given by Fleming. Okay, let me write it over here. The term mitosis was given by Fleming. Okay. Now, as we have already seen in our yesterday's class, that during cell division, the entire process of cell division is divided into two phases: the interphase and the M phase, right? And now we know the different changes which are taking place inside the cell during the interphase, right? If this is the cell cycle or cell division, so this cell cycle is divided into two different phases. First one is the interphase, right? And second is the M phase. Only when the interphase is successfully completed, a cell enters into its M phase, right? Now, since we now know the changes which are taking place in the cell during the interphase, we'll be discussing those changes also in brief, right? So in today's class, we are going to discuss what changes are taking place during the M phase of the mitosis, right? So talking about the M phase of the mitosis, so the M phase of mitosis is typically divided into four stages, and the four stages are prophase, metaphase, anaphase, or telophase and telophase, right? Although the M phase is a quick phase, right? All these four phases do not have a clear-cut demarcation. But for our ease, for our understanding, we have divided the entire M phase into these four stages to help us understand the process more better, in a better way, right? You can see the image which I have used here in this particular slide, and this is the image of a real cell undergoing the process of mitosis. And let me help you in decoding this image. See, when the cell is in its interphase, okay, label is already mentioned. When the cell is in interphase, that means in the preparatory phase, you can see that these non-observational changes are observed in the image. The cell is looking quite normal. Okay, the nucleus is present and the cell is present. Now, as the cell enters into the M phase, you can see the prophase. You can see in the nucleus region, thick dark bands are appearing. And what are these thick bands? Are the chromosomes. That means the condensation of the chromosomes have started, right? Now see the pro-metaphase, that means the early metaphase. What is happening in the early metaphase? We do not see a nuclear membrane, and we are seeing that the chromosomes, they are trying to align themselves in the equator. And also we are observing some pinkish tubular structure. Those are the spindle fibers, right? Now see the metaphase. In the metaphase, what has happened? The blue rod-like structures are the chromosomes which are arranged in the equator of the cell, and they are attached with the help of these pinkish spindle fibers, right? Then look at the image shown for anaphase. What is happening in the anaphase? The chromosomes, the blue rod-like structures are shifted towards the opposite poles. And you can see in the telophase what is happening. Telophase followed by the cytokinesis. What is happening? The blue rod-like structures, they are now not clearly visible. Again, the process of decondensation has started. And slowly the nuclear membrane is again appearing. Right? So this is the real image of the mitosis, which is captured with the help of a staining technique under the microscope, right? Now let us try to understand the different stages of the mitosis. But before that, let us have a quick review of the changes which we observed during the interphase of the cell, right? So as I told you that during the interphase was divided into three stages: G1, gap phase 1, S synthetic, and G2, gap phase 2, right? What was happening in the G1 phase? I told you that the cell size increases maximum in the G1 phase. Right? RNA and protein synthesis is taking place. Okay. The amino acid required for the production of or for the synthesis of histone proteins are synthesized in the G1 phase itself. The amino acid, AA is what? It is amino acids. I have written it in the short form. So the amino acid for histone protein is synthesized here. Then all the cell organelles are duplicated. All the cell organelles are increasing in the number except three cell organelles we have already discussed. And what were those three cell organelles? The mitochondria. Remember? plastids, and centrioles, right? Except for these three cell organelles, rest all the cell organelles were duplicated, right? Now comes the S phase or the synthetic phase, which is famously known as the DNA replication phase, and we saw that what was happening here, the copy of DNA was increasing. DNA duplication or DNA replication was taking place in this phase, DNA replication. That means the copy of DNA was synthesized. That means initially if only 2 copies of DNA are present, and after the S phase, the number of copies becomes 4C, right? Before S phase, if 2 copies of DNA was present, and during the S phase, the DNA replication has taken place and the number of DNA copies has increased and just doubled, like 2C. Now after S phase, the DNA copies will be 4C, right? Then what is happening? Histone protein was also synthesizing, right? Because we know that for effective folding of the DNA inside the nucleus, we need histone proteins. Histones are the positively charged proteins, right? We have already studied about histone and DNA folding when we were discussing the cell chapter. Okay. Then the centrioles. The centrioles were also duplicating. The centrioles are already duplicating. I told you that there are 2 pairs of centrioles. Both are present at, there are one pair of centriole present at 90 degrees of each other. Now, after the S phase, once the duplication of centriole has taken place, now there are 2 pairs of centrioles. That means total 4 centrioles are there, right? Then in the G2 phase, what was happening? In the G2 phase, the rest of the preparation was taking place. RNA and protein synthesis continued. RNA protein synthesis continued, right? The mitochondria, plastid, they were, duplicating in this G2 phase. The tubulin protein, which is required for the formation of a spindle fiber, is synthesized in the G2 phase. So these were the different preparation which a cell was undergoing in order to make itself ready for the M phase or the division phase, right? And now with all these preparations, the cell is ready to successfully enter into the M phase. Okay, guys. Remember, I have not discussed about the checkpoints. We will be studying the checkpoints only after understanding the complete process of cell division. Okay. So come on, let's see what happens in the first stage of the cell cycle of mitosis, which is the prophase. Okay. Now, as the cell enters the prophase, first of all, let me draw a structure. If this is the cell and this is the nucleus, the chromatin fibers is present in an entangled manner, all coiled around itself, right? In a thin thread-like manner. And the centriole, they are present, the pair of centriole, they are present just outside the nucleus. Okay. Now what happens as the prophase proceeds? First of all, the chromatin fibers, the untangling of the chromatin fibers takes place. Untangling, that means they begin to uncoil, because initially they are coiled upon each other. Now they are beginning to uncoil, or untangling is taking place, and then the condensation process starts. That means the condensation of chromatin fiber is starting, right? So what will happen? What is the meaning of condensation? That means the long thread-like structure, the chromatin, it is now reducing in size, because it is getting more folded, it is getting more coiled because of the presence of various other proteins like the scaffold proteins and the non-histone proteins, right? So these scaffold proteins and the non-histone proteins, they are helping in further coiling of the chromatin fibers, which leads to the condensation. Okay, and this leads to the formation of a rod-like structure, which is chromosome, which leads to the formation of a rod-like structure, which is what? Which is chromosome. Okay. Now the chromosome will be consisting of 2 chromatids, first chromatid and the second chromatid, and these 2 chromatids are the sister chromatids. Okay, and both the sister chromatids are connected with the help of a center structure. This is what? This is the centromere, the primary constriction. Okay, that means each chromosome is consisted of 2 sister chromatids and 1 centromere in the prophase stage. That means the condensation of chromatin fiber has started, and it leads to the development of the chromosome. Okay. Now what happens? Apart from these changes, in the cytoplasm also, there are certain changes which are happening. See, during the end of the prophase, you will be seeing that the nucleolus is now not visible. The nucleolus has disappeared, The nucleolus has disappeared and the nuclear membrane is also disappeared. Okay, that means both nucleolus and nuclear membrane is now not visible. And the chromosomes, they are present in the cytoplasm because now the clear-cut boundary of the nucleus is not present because the nuclear membrane is not visible, right? The centrioles, okay, although there were duplicated centrioles, remember? Two pairs of centrioles were present. So the centrioles, they have started moving towards the opposite poles. That means the extra pair of the centriole, it will move towards the opposite pole. It has started moving towards the opposite pole. Okay. Talking about the cell organelles like the Golgi complex, the endoplasmic reticulum, the mitochondria, all these cell organelles are now not visible. The cell organelles are now not visible. Okay. And what is happening? The rays, the spindle fiber rays is emitting from the centrioles. The spindle fibers are getting formed, microtubules are getting organized from the centriolar region, and these microtubules are appearing to us like rays, star-shaped rays, and that is why they are known as aster rays. What is aster? Aster is basically star, right? So the rays were appearing as a star, right? These are nothing but the microtubules which are getting formed from the centriolar region. So the aster rays also appear. So these changes are taking place in the prophase. As you can see here, the chromosomes are there, and this white dash-like structure, this is the disintegrating nuclear membrane. That means which is showing that the nuclear membrane will now disappear. Now these are the two pairs of centrioles which are present at opposite poles, and you can see the aster rays which are which are coming out from the centriole. So these are the changes which are present in the prophase. Now, as soon as the nuclear membrane it disappears, the nucleolus disappears, and the centriole are present on the opposite pole, the cell has shifted towards the second stage of the M phase, which is the metaphase. Cell has shifted towards the second phase, which is the metaphase. Now, what is happening in the metaphase? Okay, so in the metaphase, we know that the centrioles are present in opposite poles. The centrioles are present in the opposite poles, right? And the chromosomes, they were present in the cytoplasm. The chromosomes, they were present in the cytoplasm in a random manner, right? This was the starting of the metaphase, okay? And these microtubules were formed, right? That means the process of a spindle fiber formation started. But now what will happen? Now these chromosomes will start moving towards the equator of the cell. Okay, now this chromosome, I'll be reorganizing them. These chromosomes will be rearranging themselves towards the equator of the cell. All the chromosomes, for example, if this is a human cell, that means it contains 46 chromosomes. So all the 46 chromosomes will come and arrange themselves in the equator of the cell. And this movement of chromosome towards the equator of the cell is known as what? Is known as congression. This movement is known as what? Congression. Congression is what? Congression is movement of chromosomes towards the equator of cell. Movement of chromosomes where? Towards the equator of cell. Right? Now see what happens. Now what happens? The spindle apparatus will be formed. The spindle apparatus will be formed. Let me draw it in a more clear and evident way because this particular stage is important. So as I told you that the centrioles are present at the opposite poles. Okay. So there are different types of fibers which will be formed and organized. Right. See, different types of spindle fibers are first, the chromosomal fibers which are coming out from the centriole, that is from one pole, and getting attached to the chromosome and the centromeric region. Remember this chromosome, it contains disc shape or groove like structure in the centromeric region, and that groove or disc shape structure was the kinetochore. And I told you that this kinetochore is the site of attachment of site of attachment of spindle fiber during cell division, right? Now this particular spindle fiber is coming out from the centriole and is getting attached to the kinetochore region of one sister chromatid, and with this other sister chromatid is getting attached to the other spindle fiber which is coming towards the opposite pole, coming from the opposite pole, right? So all the chromosomes will be held by the spindle fibers in this manner. Okay. So these type of spindle fibers, from pole to the centromere, then from centromere to the pole, these type of spindle fibers, these are termed as the chromosomal fibers. These are what? These are the chromosomal fibers, also known as the tactile fibers. Also known as what? The tactile fibers. I hope this point is clear, right? Now, there are other sets of other types of spindle fibers also which are getting formed. Let me change the color for that. See, then one type of fiber, is the continuous fiber, which will be coming out from one pole to the other pole. So these are the continuous fibers. They are basically supporting in nature. Okay. So this is what? This is continuous fiber. Other type of fibers are discontinuous fiber, which are coming out from the pole region, but they are not moving towards any direction, right? So these are what? These are the discontinuous fibers. Both continuous and discontinuous fibers are basically supporting fibers. Okay. Now here comes another important fiber. Here comes another important fiber, which is what? Which is, one second, which is the interzonal fiber. This interzonal fiber, is present between the two sister chromatids. The red structure is the interzonal fibers. Let me label it over here. Okay. So we have seen the different type of spindle fibers. Let me again quickly summarize it. So we have seen the chromosomal fibers, those which are coming out from the centriole and entering into the kinetochore. Okay. And in the similar way from the opposite pole also. These are the chromosomal fibers. Okay. Then there are two supporting fibers, the continuous fibers, that means which are running from pole to pole, or the discontinuous fibers, that means which are coming out from the pole, but they are not moving up to a certain distance. They're moving only up to a certain distance and they're not going somewhere, right? Then comes the another set, which is the interzonal fibers, and these interzonal fibers are present between the two sister chromatids. See, these are both the sister chromatids. These are the two sister chromatids. So interzonal fibers are present in between the two sister chromatids, right? Now, this apparatus, this assembly, which is getting formed in the metaphase, this is the spindle apparatus. This is the spindle apparatus. That means the chromosomes, along with the spindle fiber, is the spindle apparatus. Okay, and you can see this picture which is shown over here. The chromosomes are present in the equator, and the spindle fibers are formed, right? So this is what? This is the spindle apparatus. Okay, the chromosome along with the spindle fiber is the spindle apparatus, and the presence of chromosomes in the equator of the cell, this is the metaphasic plate. This is what? This is the metaphasic plate. This is metaphasic plate, right? The presence of chromosome in the equator. Now, with these changes, with the formation of the spindle apparatus, the cell now moves to the next phase, which is the anaphase of the cell division. Okay, so now the cell is moving or entering into the next phase, which is the anaphase. Now, this is the shortest phase. This is the shortest phase. One more important thing regarding the metaphase. What happens? See, in the metaphase, the chromosomes, they have to arrange themselves in the equator, right? What happens in the metaphase? The chromosomes are the shortest. They are the maximum condensed chromosomes are present in the metaphase stage. So shortest or the condensed chromosome are present in the metaphase stage, and metaphase stage is ideal to study the number of chromosomes, okay, and their types. Okay, so it is a ideal stage because all the chromosomes are present in the equator. Okay. Now, talking about the anaphase, anaphase is the shortest phase of the cell cycle, or the M phase. What happens in the anaphase? See, now here comes the mechanism. What is happening? Okay, let me first change the color. I hope you are getting each and every point, because I have tried to explain each and every point in detail in basic. Okay, so in case if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Now see, the chromosomes were present in the equator, right? Each chromosome consisted of two chromatids and a centromere, right? And then these were the centriole, let's say, and these were the chromosomal fibers. I'm drawing only the chromosomal fibers right now, right? I'll be drawing only the chromosomal fibers and also one more type of fiber, which is the interzonal fiber. Okay. So now the movement of chromosomes towards the opposite pole will take place, and the main role in this particular process is of two fibers. First is the chromosomal fibers. First is what? The chromosomal fibers, and another one is the interzonal fiber. Another one is what? The interzonal fiber. Okay. Now see what happens. Since we know that before S phase, each chromosome consisted of only single chromatid and one centromere. But after S phase, what happened? Because of the DNA replication, each chromosome consisted of what? How many chromatids? 2 chromatids and a single centromere. Okay. But this is the process of division. We have to distribute between two daughter cells, and that too in equal amount. And what are we distributing? We are distributing the DNA, because we know that DNA is the most important molecule, because it has all the genetic information which it will be needing to regulate the activity of the cell, right? So now what happens? The chromosomal fibers. In the chromosomal fibers, depolymerization starts. What happens in the chromosomal fibers? Depolymerization takes place. That means its chain starts to, break. It's the length of the chromosomal fiber starts to get short. Shortening of the chromosomal fiber starts because of the depolymerization. So depolymerization of chromosomal fibers. Whereas, polymerization of the interzonal fibers takes place. So polymerization of the interzonal fibers, that means the fibers which are present in between both the sister chromatids, they are developing their chain. Okay. Whereas this yellow one, they are reducing in the length because depolymerization is taking place. So what happens because of these two important phenomena? Push and pull mechanism. With the help of the push and pull mechanism, a push has developed. And who is pushing? Interzonal fiber is pushing. And interzonal fiber is pushing what? They are pushing away the two sister chromatids. They are pushing away, for example, let's say this is the one sister, this is one chromatid, this is another chromatid, and these two are attached together at the centromere, right? But what is happening now? Something is coming in between these two. Now something is coming in between these two, and that particular interzonal fiber, it is pushing them away. It is pushing them away, right? And also at the same time, at the centromere, the chromosomal fiber is attached, and this chromosomal fiber, it is reducing in length. So a pull is generated. So this chromosomal fiber, it is pulling away the sister chromatid towards itself, right? So now with this push and pull, what happens? The centromere, it splits. Centromere splits, and with the split in the centromere, what happens? The chromosome split. The chromosome split, and each chromosome now consists of only one chromatid. Now you can see this particular diagram. Initially, the chromosomes were like this. Remember, let's see the previous image. See, each chromosome consisted of 2 chromatids, right? Now, what happened? Because of this push and pull mechanism, because of this polymerization and depolymerization, the centromere, it braked, right? And both the sister chromatids, they got separated. And they started moving towards the opposite pole. And this is what is happening in the anaphase. Now, as you can see, during anaphase, the spindle fibers are attached to the centromere region, right? And the centromere is directed towards the pole, whereas the arms of the chromosomes, they are facing the equator. The arms, these are the arms, right? So these arms of the chromosomes, they are facing towards the equator. So now in this particular stage, the shape of the chromosome becomes evident. C shape, L shape, J shape, I shape. Remember the metacentric, submetacentric, acrocentric, and telocentric type of chromosomes, right? Since here in this particular stage, the spindle fibers are attached to the centromeric region, and the arms of the chromosomes are facing towards the equator, whereas the centromere is facing towards the pole. So the shape of the chromosomes becomes evident at this anaphase stage, and that is why, to study the shape of the chromosome, anaphase is the best stage, right? Got it? So this was about the anaphase. Now what happens? The splitted chromosomes or the sister chromatids. Now basically in this stage, what is happening? Initially what happened? See, in the metaphase, there were 4 chromosomes. Let's say 2n is equals to 4 was the number, right? Now look at the anaphase. Now there are total how many chromosomes at this stage? There are total 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are total 8 chromosomes. There are now total 8 chromosomes. That means the ploidy of the cell has increased. Number of chromosomes has increased, just doubled, right? From diploid, it has become tetraploid, right? In the anaphase. But what will happen again after the cytokinesis? Both the chromosomes will be separated in 2 different daughter cells. But at this particular stage, a single cell, it is containing tetraploid stage. This is the tetraploid stage. This is a really good question. Once it has already been asked in the examination that which stage of the cell division which will be called as a tetraploid stage. So this is the anaphase. Why? Because due to the split in the centromeric region, or due to the split of the centromere, now the sister chromatids separate, and now each sister chromatid constitutes a single chromosome. That means just after the anaphase, what happens? Again, now just after the anaphase, this was still the metaphase. Now just after the anaphase, each chromosome again will be containing only one chromatid and one centromere, just like the before one. This was the G1 phase. During the S phase, what happened? From the S till the metaphase, what happened? Each chromosome consisted of two chromatids. Now in the anaphase again, because of the split of the centromere, each chromosome again consists of one chromatid and one centromere. Right? That means the purpose now has fulfilled, because the cell now has the identical condition as it was present in the mother state. Right? Now moving ahead comes the last stage, which is the telophase. What happens in the telophase? The chromosome decondenses. Why? Because already the distribution has taken place. So the chromosomes, it decondenses, okay, and they form chromatin fiber once again. That means on the opposite poles, if this is the cell, on the opposite poles, the chromatin fiber formation starts once again by the decondensation of the chromosome. Then the nuclear membrane and nucleolus, it starts to reform or reappear. The nuclear membrane and the nucleolus, right? It reappears. Okay. The cell organelles, they also start to appear once again in the cytoplasm. Okay. And now the cell is preparing for its second stage, which is the cytokinesis. Okay. As I have already told you that a cell division has two steps. First one is the karyokinesis, that means the division of the nucleus. And the second step is the cytokinesis, that is the division of the cell. Right? So first step, karyokinesis, is successfully completed. Now we have to look deep into the process of cytokinesis. Okay, guys? So this was the process of karyokinesis. In case if you have any doubt, do ask me. But I have tried my best to explain to you the very basic process of cell division, and this particular thing is really important because you will be studying about this mitosis, meiosis in various chapters, and you must have a clear-cut demarcation of what actually is taking or happening in the case of cell division, right? So now we know that a cell has already distributed its nucleus. Okay. Now comes the turn of actual cell division, that means the distribution of the cytoplasm and other organelles also, which were already duplicated, right? Which were already duplicated in the interphase. So what happens? The process of cytokinesis, it is different in case of both plant and animal cells. In both plant and animal cells, the process of cytokinesis is different. First, let us discuss the process of cytokinesis in animal cells. Okay. We know that in animal cell, the outermost layer is the plasma membrane. The outermost layer is the plasma membrane. The cell wall is absent. The rigid structured cell wall is absent in case of animal cells. Okay. So remember the microfilaments. The microfilaments about which we have studied in the cytoskeleton when we were discussing the cytoskeleton structures. So the microfilaments were the proteinaceous structure mainly made up of actin and myosin. And they were contractile in nature, remember? They were contractile in nature. And I discussed various functions which are performed by these microfilaments, and one of the function was the cytokinesis also. So what happens during the time of cytokinesis? These microfilaments, they arrange themselves around the equator of the cell, in all the directions. Okay? And they start the process of contraction. Okay? So what happens? Imagine the cell in a three-dimensional view. And the contraction starts from all the directions. So a contractile ring is formed, and what happens? A furrow formation starts. A groove-like structure forms, okay? And that contractile ring, it starts to decrease in size, and ultimately it leads to the separation of the two daughter cells. That means the process of cytokinesis in case of animal cells is starting from the periphery and moving towards the center. And this type of direction is centripetal in nature. This type of direction is what? From periphery to center is centripetal in nature. Okay, I have introduced this term because many times questions do ask, like the direction of cytokinesis in animal cell is centripetal or centrifugal. So this is centripetal because it is moving from periphery towards the center. And this is how, by the involvement of the microfilaments, by the formation of the contractile ring, the cytokinesis takes place in animal cell. Okay. Now talking about the process of cytokinesis in plant cells. So we know that in plant cell, the biggest challenge is the presence of the rigid cell wall. This rigid cell wall will not allow the process of furrow formation to take place, right? It is not easy in case of plants as it was in case of animals. So what happens here? See, what happens? Let's say this is the, nucleus. This is the nucleus. Now, for the cytokinesis to take place, what happens? In the center region, a structure is formed, and this structure is known as cell plate or phragmoplast. This structure is known as what? Cell plate or phragmoplast. This cell plate or phragmoplast is basically made up of the remnants of the spindle fiber. This is important. It is made up of, I'm writing it over here, right? This cell plate, it is made up of the remnants, that means the remainings of the spindle fibers, right? Then the vesicles, the ER vesicles and the Golgi complex vesicles, right? All these structures, they combine together to form, cell plate or phragmoplast, and that too at the centermost region, right? And now this cell plate, it starts developing from center to periphery. That means it will be covering the entire center region, but beginning from the center and reaching towards the periphery. The direction is opposite from center to periphery. So this direction is centrifugal in nature. This direction is what? This direction is centrifugal in nature. So once it has covered, what happens? With the help of the Golgi body, calcium and magnesium pectate are secreted in the cell plate. What happens? Calcium and magnesium pectate. Calcium and magnesium pectate are secreted in this cell plate structure, and now the cell plate, in the presence of the calcium and magnesium pectate, is known as middle lamella or the plant cement. Remember, we have already studied about middle lamella while studying the cell chapter, right? So do revise that particular chapter in order to have a crisp understanding of this particular process, because both is ultimately the same. You're studying about cells, right? So what happens? This structure is now known as middle lamella or plant cement, right? And now just inside to the inner side to the middle lamella, the cell wall will be formed, and the cell wall will be primary in nature. Now look at this particular diagram. What is happening? First of all, this is the anaphase where the chromosomal movement is taking place towards the opposite pole. Now in the telophase, the decondensation takes place, and in the cytokinesis, what happens? See, the vesicles fuse to form cell plate. The vesicles are arranging themselves in the equator, and then the vesicles are fusing to form the cell plate. And now in between the two cells, this is the middle lamella, and this is how cytokinesis takes place in case of plants. Okay, so this is the complete process of cell division during mitosis in animal as well as in plant cells. I hope each and every point is clear to you, right? Now let us have a look at certain differences which we see in the mitosis of plants as well as animal cells. Okay, first of all, the first difference is we know that in case of plants, centriole is absent. Centriole is absent, whereas in case of animals it is present, right? That means, the mitosis of plant cell, it is known as acentric mitosis. Acentric mitosis because the centriole is absent. Whereas the mitosis of animal cell is known as centric mitosis, right? Because of the presence of the centriole. Now, because of the presence of the centriole, ester rays were formed, right? So the animal mitosis is also known as amphiestral mitosis, amphiestral, or simply the astral mitosis. Because why amphi? Amphi because from both the poles the ester rays are formed, right? Amphi means dual. So amphiestral or astral mitosis. Similarly, the mitosis of plant cell, it is known as anastral mitosis because the centriole is absent, therefore the ester rays are also not formed. Okay, but have you ever thought of the process, like when the centriole is absent, and how did the spindle fibers getting formed? How did the spindle fibers getting formed in case of plant cell? And I've already told you the answer when we were discussing the centriole, when we were discussing cells, the unit of life. right? I told you that the centriole, they are surrounded by, a dense granular mass, which is known as pericentriolar mass or macule. And they were basically also known as the nucleating center, and they are responsible for the formation of the microtubules. And that is why in the plant cell, despite centriole being absent, the spindle fibers are getting synthesized or are formed, right? Now, see what happens. Generally, for example, in the animal cell, the spindle fibers, they are degenerated just after the process of anaphase, because the chromosomal separation has taken place. Now we don't need those spindle fibers, right? So spindle fibers are not present after anaphase. After anaphase, right? But what is happening here in the plant cell? The spindle fibers are present, because we have just seen the presence of a spindle fibers during the formation of cell plate, right? So in plant cell, the spindle fibers are present even after the anaphase. They persist, right? And then we have seen the difference in the cytokinesis. In cytokinesis in plant cell, it takes place by the cell plate formation, whereas in animal cell, it has taken place by the furrow formation. In animal cell, the direction was centripetal, whereas in plant cell, the direction was centrifugal. So these are some of the differences which are taking place during the mitotic cell division in plant cell and animal cell. Okay, guys. So I have tried to cover the maximum questions which can be asked, or I can say all the questions which can be asked from this particular chapter. Okay, if you have judiciously followed my lectures, then you won't be missing any single question from cell division, right? Now, what is the significance of this particular process which we have just now studied? What is the significance of this mitosis? Okay, see, we know that mitosis takes place in all the somatic cells, of our body. Generally, what happens in case of animals, mitosis takes place in diploid cells normally, right? Then what happens? There are certain examples or exceptions also, like drone, which are developed from unfertilized eggs. That means in case of drone, mitosis is also taking place in haploid cells, right? Whereas in case of plants, you can see this mitosis very frequently in both the cases, in haploid as well as in diploid cells, right? Now, mitosis, with the help of mitosis, we know that mitosis results in the formation of identical daughter cells, and the equational cell division is the mitosis, so it helps in the process of growth, where the identical cells are needed to be produced. For example, the very basic example is the increase in the length of the hair, right? This is also growth, right? So now what happens when the hair cells are dividing? They are producing hair cells only, right? That means identical daughter cells are getting produced, and this is by the process of mitosis. Then reproduction. So why reproduction? Some of you might get confused that this point is not correct, but yes, reproduction in unicellular organisms. Reproduction in unicellular organisms takes place by the process of mitosis, right? Right, when amoeba divides the binary fission, it is through mitosis, right? Then repair and regeneration. See, in case of injury or wound, what happens? We need to repair that particular site. Or whereas in case of regeneration, okay, so for example, in certain, like in planaria, we have seen that the body of planaria, when it is cut into different parts, each individual part is able to regenerate itself. So that regeneration is taking place by the help of mitosis. Even in the zygote, which is formed by the fusion of male and female gametes, this zygote, it is also dividing continuously by the process of mitosis, and it is helping in regenerating the entire structure of the organism, right? Then maintenance of the chromosome number. That means in the mother cell, when the 2n chromosome is present, then in the daughter cell also 2n chromosome is present. Okay, so this particular point is with respect to this point. Now, to maintain the nucleocytoplasmic and surface area to volume ratio, we have already discussed about these 2 points in our earlier class. See, I told you that the volume of nucleus to the volume of cytoplasm should be high. This ratio should be high. Similarly, the surface area to volume ratio should also be high for an actively metabolizing cell. And whenever these two ratios, they get disturbed inside the cell, the metabolism rate of the cell, it also gets affected. And that is why, to regain back the metabolic activity, the cell takes the decision to divide. And that is why, to regain the nucleocytoplasmic ratio and the surface area to volume ratio, cell division takes. Okay, so these are the various significance of the mitosis. Okay, in order to understand or to see mitosis in case of plants, the best cell is the root cells, root tip cells. Okay, the best cell is the root tip cell to study mitosis. Whereas in the animals, the base of the nail, is the best cell to study mitosis, or you can say the stratum germinativum layer of the epidermis, right? I will be writing it over here. The stratum germinativum, remember the skin, stratum germinativum layer of the skin, right? Or you can say in the, in the bone marrow cells also. In these particular examples, simply the best one is the base of nail. You can study this process of mitosis. Okay, so this was the significance of mitosis. Now, is this information sufficient? No. We also need to know about the inhibitors which can interact with, various structures or interact with the processes which are taking place in the mitosis. So now talking about mitotic inhibitors. So there are various inhibitors known in the nature. Some of the examples which are quite famous and are frequently asked in the examination are colchicine, azides and cyanides, mustard gas, and chalones. Okay, talking about colchicine. This colchicine, it basically affects the formation of a spindle apparatus. It affects the formation of a spindle apparatus during the metaphase stage, right? It disturbs the formation of a spindle apparatus, right, during the metaphase stage, and it frequently leads to the development of polyploidal condition. It develops polyploidy-like condition in the cell. Okay. Then what happens? Azides and cyanides. So they basically, what happens with azides and cyanides? They inhibit the prophase stage of the mitosis. They inhibit the prophase stage. Talking about the mustard gas, so they agglutinate or precipitate the chromosomes. Agglutinate the chromosomes. Agglutinate means precipitate the chromosomes, right? Talking about chalones, so first of all, what are chalones? They are the glycoproteins which are secreted or which are found in the extracellular fluid, ECF. They are the glycoproteins which are found in the ECF, and they inhibit the process of mitosis. They inhibit the process of mitosis, right? So these are the various important inhibitors which are found in the nature and which acts, which we can also use in controlling mitosis as we wish, right? So, from each and every point, the question is already asked. So you must know the reason behind, the mechanism, right? For example, azides and cyanides, they are inhibiting the prophase stage. Mustard gas, it is precipitating the chromosomes. Colchicine is inhibiting the formation of the spindle apparatus, so on and so forth, right? So this was about the mitotic inhibitors. I hope this point is also clear to you. Okay, guys? Now comes the last but the most important point, which is the cell cycle checkpoints. So right now we have studied, the entire process of mitosis. As I told you, G1 phase followed by the S phase followed by the, G2 phase. Now this follows the M phase. Again, this is a cycle, so it will continue, right? But when it comes to regulation of cell cycles, right? And every time, question comes from this particular point. So regulation of cell cycle is dependent upon, two names, cyclin and cyclin dependent kinases. What is CDK? CDK is cyclin dependent kinases, right? You remember kinases like the hexokinase or phosphofructokinase we have studied in respiration. Kinases deals with the phosphorylation, addition of phosphate process or the transfer of phosphate groups, right? So the cyclin dependent kinases and cyclin, that means these kinases, for them to remain functional, they need particular cyclin to be present. That means for the G1 stage to proceed, G1 cyclin should be present and phosphorylation of cyclin dependent kinase should be there. Phosphorylation of G1 cyclin dependent kinase takes place, and this is how the G1 proceeds, right? But we know there are three major checkpoints. One is between G1 and S. Another is between G2 and M. Another one is in the M phase. during the between the metaphase and the anaphase, right? Now what happens for each stage to proceed? What happens? Their particular cyclin needs to be present there, and the activation of that particular cyclin dependent kinase should also take place. Now, for example, if the cell wants to proceed for the S phase, so what happens? The G1 cyclin, it destroys or it disrupts, and dephosphorylation of G1 cyclin takes place. This is how the S phase proceeds, right? Similarly, so on and so forth. Now let us look at this particular structure. See what happens. This is G1. This is what? Let me change the color first. See, this is what? This is G1. Okay. Now, at the checkpoint at G1, the checkpoint at G1 focuses on some of the important points, like the G1 checkpoint, it checks for the growth in the cell size, because we know the cell grows maximum in its size during G1. So the cell size growth is checked. The presence of the nutrients, growth factors, and DNA damage, okay, is checked at G1, but mainly it checks for cell size and the presence of the various growth factors at G1 stage. If this particular parameters are present, then the cell moves towards the second stage, which is the S stage. That means the DNA synthesis, that is DNA replication, takes place, right? Once the DNA replication has taken place, the cell enters the G2, right? Now, before entering the M phase, at the G2 again comes another checkpoint. At G2, what happens? Again, the checkpoint checks for the accuracy of the DNA replication. That means, first of all, is the DNA replicated in a correct manner? First of all, is it replicated? The second is in a correct manner without any error. The main focus of G2 checkpoint is to check for cell DNA and its damage. If the DNA is damaged, the cell won't allow to continue or to enter into the M phase. If the DNA replication is incorrect, then also the cell will not enter into the M phase. The cell cycle will be aborted at that particular time. But in case if the DNA replication is accurate without any damage, then the cell will be allowed to enter into the M phase, right? So mainly it checks for DNA replication. Okay. Then during the M phase, remember the metaphase, what happened in the metaphase? Spindle apparatus was getting formed, right? So just in between metaphase and anaphase, there is another minor checkpoint which is known as spindle assembly checkpoint. This is also known as anaphase promoting complex, APC. This is also known as what? Anaphase promoting complex, APC. And this particular checkpoint, it checks for the correct assembly of the spindle fiber or a spindle apparatus. Is the chromosomes correctly aligned in the equator of the cell? Are the spindle fibers which are present correctly attached to each and every chromosome? If it is so, then only cell will be allowed to enter into the anaphase. If not, then the cell cycle will be aborted. Right? So the chromosomal attachment to spindle is checked during the spindle assembly checkpoint or anaphase promoting complex checkpoint. So these are the three major checkpoints, right? Three checkpoints which are found in the cell cycle. Now the G1 to S checkpoint is the first and the major checkpoint. It is also known as the restriction point. It is also known as what? The restriction point, because in the first place, if in the G1 the enough growth of the cell has not taken place, enough nutrients are not available, the cell will not proceed further and cell will enter into the resting stage, which is the G0 stage or the quiescent stage or the dormant stage, right? So these are the various checkpoints which helps in regulating the cell cycle and the quality of the cell cycle. Okay, guys. So that was it. So that's it for mitosis. Again, in tomorrow's class, we'll be discussing about meiosis in detail. And with the knowledge of mitosis, now it will be quite easier for you to have a clear-cut understanding of the meiosis, right? So guys, we'll be meeting you again tomorrow. But before taking your leave, let me once again tell you my timings. I'm live daily at 5 p.m. on your favorite channel, Let's Crack NEET UG in English, for your regular classes. Okay? At 11:30 a.m. on Unacademy Learning app for my free of cost special classes. And at 9 p.m. on your favorite channel, Let's Crack NEET UG in English, for your practice sessions. Right? For your practice sessions to enhance your problem solving skills. Okay, guys? In case if you have still not pressed the like button, do press the like button and share this video to the maximum. And do subscribe for Unacademy Plus or Unacademy Iconic subscription to ensure the best available quality education which you are getting for your NEET UG preparation. And do not forget to use my referral code AG001 to get an instant 10% discount on your course fee. Okay, guys. So thank you. Have a nice day.